chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from Rock Solid Studios in Granite Falls, it's time for MinneZona Sports, live with DJ Matty C. and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back with episode 5. Let's get it going. I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Matty C, a.k.a. Callahan, etc., 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 and all the way from Woods and Shores Studios in Aiken, Minnesota. Finally, an Uncle Paul Vold, the Shield. What's going on, Shield?
Dude, it has been like 9 days worth of stuff crammed into 3, but it is all worth it because I'm finally an uncle, and I'm more than excited to be on for the show tonight. Let's get this party going.
Let's get this party going, and we have a guest. We have a guest, and I finally gave in because this person has had a lot of absurd statements. This person just grinds my gears a little bit. But here's the thing. We're going to have some fun with this, and the zoners, I think, are going to have some fun with this. So we welcome the one, the only, the most absurd statement winner of 2015, Will Glancey. What's going on, Will?
What's going on, guys? I wake up every day, and I think to myself, what should I do? And it's definitely Trigger Matt that's top of my list.
Well, the thing is, Glancey, you're not wrong because there's a lot of things going on when you send me a text saying, hey, think about this trade, or guess what? We're going to think Christian Ponder's coming back. More on that later. But we need to set you straight. So, anyway, we got to get rolling, Voldy and Glance, with some tater tot hot take. So let's get it rolling.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right. Well, there's a comment that was made here, and I think this is kind of true. You're really not as bad as one other person for MinneZona Sports Live. His name is Tyler Meyer. He's had a lot of absurd statements. So there's that. So you have that to fall back on. But all right, it's time to get going with our first order of business. Glance, Super Bowl, Sunday. All right. Let us know your prediction. Who you think's going to win? Give us a score. Give us your Super Bowl MVP. Go.
Game, the offense. Okay. Has a great defense. I think right now. But Patrick Mahomes. I mean, the second coming of Tom Brady, but mobile. So I think the score is going to be up 30s. I think it's going to be 34-37, and I think it's going to be Buccaneers. I don't think you can stop Tom Brady. I mean, I think I saw a stat the other day. He's like 28 or something like that in the red zone. If you're throwing lasers in the red zone, you're going to win the game. I mean, and they got if fall back in their run game, which they should, and they really haven't as much in the postseason. And I think this is the game where they will. They can definitely control the ball, keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. Although he can score in 3 seconds, but yeah.
Oh boy. I don't know what we're gonna do here, Voldy. I think with Glance going off and saying that could be a good omen or that could be a terrible omen for you, Voldy, for the Buccaneers. Because, I mean, I just have a guess of who you're going to take. But we are saving our predictions and our thoughts for the Super Bowl on Sunday. Because we have our Super Bowl special. Get ready. We got our Super Bowl special, 2 p.m. Make sure you check it out. But Glance, I can't go wrong with that. I can't even give you an absurd statement for that because I don't disagree with the score, don't disagree with your MVP. I think it's very possible. The thing is you're starting off on the right note. So, but not only that, the zoners can chime in as well too with the poll. We're gonna bring out a poll. You give us your score, things like that, and then you'll be ready for Super Bowl Sunday, and we'll have our special. So. We'll get it rolling with that. But anyway, we got to move on from the Super Bowl because we're saving it for Super Bowl Sunday. Thanks, Glance, for... make sure, Glance, you're ready for that, too. Make sure Hill doesn't have 230 yards in the first quarter. Yeah, that really helped my fantasy team. Hunch. So there's that. All right, moving on to our next order of business. We all know Glance is a big Vikings fan like myself. This one fits you perfectly, Glance. You know why it does is because you like to speculate. You love to speculate and just kind of see, well, maybe if the Vikings did this, got rid of Kirk and brought in this. So what are your thoughts on the latest rumor of Kirk Cousins possibly leaning more towards or people saying Kirk's going to go to the 49ers for Jimmy G and all this stuff? Glance, your thoughts on the rumors?
They're just rumors. I mean, unless you get an absolute killer deal like you got from Buffalo, we're not getting rid of Kirk Cousins. I mean, he runs that offense extremely well. He's not the problem in the offense. To be honest here. I mean, it's O-line, and it's O-line. Oh, and it's O-line. If we don't, it's kind of like with the Twins. They don't have pitching. We don't get old linemen. And the ones that we do get, I'm pretty sure practice squad players are better. Like, let's be real here. So, I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to go to the 49ers unless it's some killer deal. Or if it's like the rumors that we've heard where it's a three-way trade between them and Houston and we get DeShaun Watson. If that's the case, I'm sorry, Kirk. It's time to go, brother. It's time to go. Daddy is coming to town. Okay, but that's probably not going to happen. Let's be real. I think I saw that the Texans wanted the 2 stars on defense. So, get out of that. So, Kirk is going to stay. Kirk is going to have a big season next year. Over 4,000 yards, over 30 touchdowns. They're under 10 picks. So, let's be real here. He's going to be here. He's going to do well. And if we can get some O-line, here's the thing, right? If we get O-line, that was a great season, right? Now imagine if he was stuck behind Dallas 2015. Exactly. You know what's tough? At that point, you could cut Kirk Cousins.
You know what also is tough is your connection is just terrible right now because you're coming in and out and all this fun stuff. But you know what? We'll forgive you for that. Well, then again, it could be Skype. But Voldy, let me ask you this question, the same question too. I mean. I don't think it's going to happen, but I just think it's going to have to be a deal that's going to blow them away, right?
Yeah, it's going to have to be one of those. Someone's going to eat the contract of Kirk Cousins in order to get rid of some dead weight. I think, obviously, $56 million over the next 2 years, that is going to be a big deal breaker anyway, especially after the big years that he's had with the Vikings. But especially the fact that his base salary in 2022 is $35 million, that's definitely going to keep a few people away. But again, it's going to have to be one of those big trades where, if we end up with DeShaun Watson or somebody that's, a caliber player of that level. And, fortunately, it's only DeShaun Watson as of right now that's on that trading block. Potentially, I just don't see this happening anytime soon. Again, it's going to take one of those small miracles for it to happen.
Right, and we talked about this, about the whole Kirk Cousins, with Kirk Cousins possibly going there, like Shanahan just has this thing for Kirk Cousins, bring them over the top. Well, honestly, you already signed Cousins to an extension, and I know, it's like, well, Matty C, you said Diggs wasn't going to be traded. He got the extension. Well, true, but this just screams, okay, if it's just straight up Jimmy G for Kirk Cousins, I'm not doing that. I would rather have Kirk Cousins on my team than Jimmy Garoppolo, and you can book that statement because there is no way I would want Jimmy Garoppolo on the Minnesota Vikings because
interesting.
I believe that Kirk Cousins right now is much better than Jimmy Garoppolo. If Jimmy Garoppolo was on this team, not saying it would be a complete huge downgrade, but you just don't make the... Yes, it's like, well, you free up cap space in 2022. You do this. It's like, it's not realistic at this point. It's going to have to be a deal that is going to blow everybody away, okay? And unless it involves Deshaun Watson, which I think is pretty far off too, I mean... If they somehow, the Texans, the 49ers, the Vikings have a 3-team trade and we're able to get Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't be against it. I don't think anybody would be against it. But the Minnesota Vikings are not going to make this deal just, here, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo. Not going to happen. All right.
Right.
If Kirk gets traded, the Vikings better have a QB plan set before. We will not swap with San Francisco with Jimmy G. Jimmy G has a better chance at being New England's starting QB next year than Minnesota. Exactly. That would be something, too. And something to bring up as well. I mean, if that doesn't work, then, it's... If he goes to New England, it would make sense because Belichick has a thing for Jimmy G and everything like that. But I don't see this happening. I think a lot of this, I don't know why Kyle Shanahan is just so infatuated with Kirk Cousins, apparently, or the 49ers. It's throwing a wrench into things and whatnot. But, I mean, Glance is... Obviously, if Deshaun Watson was involved, you would do it in a heartbeat. But, I mean, what else would you have to package with that? More picks? Do you have to give away maybe Anthony Barr, Kyle Rudolph? I mean, what other things might the Vikings have to give up if this Deshaun Watson and Jimmy G trade is actually plausible?
I would say... Gosh, see, you're going to go with Eric Wilson. And granted, Eric Wilson had a phenomenal last year. I told you when the whole Kaprizov thing was going on, you can't teach Anthony Barr is just a tower in the middle of the field. And he also can rush a passer, although we haven't used that part of his ability set. I would say if you want to get Kirk Cousins from the Minnesota Vikings, you're giving up at least a first because you're getting a known commodity, which is, and we could debate this, but I think he's a top 10 quarterback. When he's on his game, he's a top 10. If he's Kirk Cousins through the first 6 games of the season, I would rather have Trubisky. So there's that. But
Wow.
if he's Kirk Cousins that he's been for 75% of the time here in Minnesota, he's top 10. So I want a first, I want a second, and I want a late round. And we'll give you some late round picks as well. Right? And then we could take Jimmy G if you want to get rid of Jimmy G. Screw it. I'll take Jimmy G. We'll roll with him for maybe like a year. Maybe somehow he turns it on and next like they trade all the time. I don't know that. Jimmy G comes much and doesn't slide enough.
Well, not only that, and I from what I've noticed is that he doesn't really have, I feel like he's made some questionable throws, especially in the Super Bowl. They had a chance to even, win they were up on Kansas City. We can't forget that, too, with Jimmy G. And they blew it. And and that's kind of how it is. And Hunt brings up a good point here. Jimmy G has no ankles left. I mean, for goodness sakes, all the injuries, all the injuries that he's had. I mean, you got to factor that in as well. So it's something they have to make note of and see how it goes. Okay, and you can't go into this. I think Spielman's probably laughing at this right now. He's probably just like, you guys really think that we're just gonna trade Jimmy G straight up? Or no, Kirk Cousins straight up for Jimmy G? Hell no, we're not doing that. And I don't think they have any. There's no signs on the Twitter sphere not like even, newspapers, for goodness sake, online. There's just no inclination that this is going to happen, okay? DeShaun Watson, we'll talk about this later in ARA and whatnot. It's a different story, but I just think it's gonna be one hell of a deal if they can pull it off. But I don't think they're going to. I don't think that dream, I think, is dead. But you roll with Cousins. That's how I look at it. So that's what we're going to end it with. So there's that. But one other thing for Tater Tot hot take. Glance, you're really not much of a hockey guy, but you wanted to talk about the Wild. You really like Kirill Dalabul. Kirill the Thrill, let's go. So, what are your thoughts on Kaprizov, Glance?
I've heard this on radio or other places. I like to affectionately call him Kaprizov. But what I've watched, I'm not the biggest hockey guy, but I've heard nothing but great things about this kid, so I decided I'll watch a couple of games. And you've got yourself, I think at his stage in his career and his potential, he could be better than Sidney Crosby and be some of the upper echelon if he keeps on his trajectory. Now, like early in the season, I think the speed of the game, maybe, I'm in the NHL now, these are the top guys around. Maybe that kind of got to him a little stardom and things like that, and he had some turnovers, but then in overtime and things like that. So I think if the Wild can build with and around a player like him, I might find over home, and push for playoff, maybe even miss the cup run. That's probably not for 2 or 3 years down the road. But I really like his ability. He creates well, he scores well, and when you see him out there, it doesn't look like he's just, I need to score or I need to pass. He just does the best play, and I'm going to make it. And he goes and does it.
He does. And, I just, those retro unis looks just fantastic. And we've gushed about them on the show here, Voldy, and they're 1-0. They're 1-0 with those jerseys on. Why can't they just wear it the whole stinking time? Well, here's the thing, too. They're dealing with a lot of COVID right now. A lot of players are on the COVID list, and it's crazy. I mean, we just got the breaking news just before the show. But, again, shoot, why not wear those shirts? I mean, maybe even switch back to the North Stars. Take the Dallas Stars out. Have them switch their name. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Voldy, they got... they're 1-0 with the jerseys on. In OT, they beat Colorado. Are we going to get our retro jerseys at some point? Is this going to happen?
Well, yeah, it's definitely happening. It's a question of when and logistically, of course, as well. I don't know if people know this or not, but I got a baby coming, so a lot of the focus is going to be going towards the kid here for, well, let's say about, 18 years or so.
Yeah.
So we'll at least throw that in that direction. But it's definitely happening, and I know I need my Kaprizov reverse retro ASAP. Again, it's just a question of when it's going to happen.
Yeah, Glance, you better be getting one too, or else we might nominate you again for absurd statement. No, anyway, moving on here, we have Wild are on pause now. They have no players to play at the moment. Yep. Voldy, get your skates ready.
Ready to go always.
He's ready to go. All right, last thing. I bet you know where I'm going to go with this, Glancey. I think you know where I'm going with this, okay? And it involves a player by the name of Christian Ponder. You were a big fan of this guy. You were saying he's the future. He's the guy. Glance, can you just admit that Christian Ponder is, and I quote, not the man anymore?
No. Let me ask you this question, Matt.
Okay.
2012. Did he not have a really good season in 2012?
Let me ask you this. Did AP have a really good season? Did he have 2,000 yards?
I'm glad you brought that up, right? So it was a run-first offense. Kind of like, I don't know, the Vikings right now. And he put up pretty good numbers, right? Not godly numbers, not Patrick Mahomes, not vintage Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he put up good numbers. That's interesting that the Vikings in a place with quarterback that a lot of people would argue is overpaid in a run for defense. I can't help but see the stars align for a beautiful return for Christian Ponder, his big arm. And let's not forget, Sam Ponder coming to Minnesota, baby. Let's not forget.
You know, I like it's almost gets to be too much. It almost gets to be too much. And the fact that you said that he might be coming back and play at a high level or something like that is beyond absurd. You're already nominating yourself for Absurd Statement of 2021, so there's that. So put that in the books.
It's not like it hasn't happened before, a.k.a. Michael Vick coming out of prison to light up in 2010. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not unheard of.
You're comparing Christian Ponder to Michael Vick's return. No. I can't let you get away with this one. No way. That. Now, you got to know that's a whole different situation. The thing is that Vick had a lot of talent still, and he did have a couple good years with the Eagles. He didn't have an awful year, but he had a pretty good. But if you're saying Christian Ponder is going to come back into the league and he's going to, make an impact, you're dead wrong on that. You're dead wrong on that. Teams will be laughing if Christian Ponder is going to be a starting quarterback and play well. Glance, come on, man. Come on.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's go here. Let's get a question. Kirk Cousins' biggest knock. What was it?
Well, obviously, the one that comes out is the ability to win the big game in prime time. At least that's my thing of the biggest knock overall.
Primetime Kirk Cousins was born last year. Moving forward, it's the ability to run, for which he does not do. What was Christian Ponder's biggest plus? That dude ran everywhere. Bam, baby. Christian Ponder, welcome home.
I can't. I just can't. I just can't anymore. I can't. Let's get to the zoners because they gotta know. They gotta know what's going on here. Is Glancey in witness protection? I don't know. You tell me. Shout out to the Kerf doctor.
I can't disclose the location, but there are some dudes here. All right.
We're gonna figure out a different way so we don't have you coming in and out. But we got most of what you got. He couldn't beat Florida at all when he was with Florida State.
Hold on, are we talking about a completely different league right now?
Hey, that's what Huntz is saying. I didn't say that.
One league. All I'm saying is Tebow, greatest college quarterback of all time, and I think he just got cut in the minor leagues. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're just saying. Ponder is as big a bust as
Troy
Williamson.
It's easy.
You hear that?
No. Hey,
You're breaking up. We
no. Slanderous.
Well, he's letting you know, man. I mean, that's just how it is. Glancey is as bad as Tyler. I changed my mind.
Dang.
Now that's rough. That's rough.
Bad.
That's rough, man. Tebow won a playoff game.
Demaryius Thomas won a playoff game. Get out of here.
But we're not talking wide receivers, though. Come on now.
Okay. All right. Hold on. First off, Michael Thomas could have ran that route last year. Second off, I could have made that throw. Okay. Demaryius Thomas took that ball to the house. He was a man on a mission on that play. Okay. Tim Tebow didn't win a playoff game. Tim Tebow helped get to overtime. Demaryius Thomas won the playoff game.
I can't anymore. But anyway, we'll forgive you for some of these comments that you've made on this show already, and we're gonna have you on again, Glance, because I feel like you need to have your voice heard by the zoners, and zoners need to just kind of listen to what you have to say. Maybe there's some that buy into it, Glance. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, last thing too. Glance, have you gotten your MinneZona shirt yet?
You know what? I went to click buy now, and it quickly shot me over to Fanatics, and I couldn't find it on Fanatics. So.
Oh well. Here's the thing. We got an option for you. Okay, you talk to Jimbo Vold on Venmo, Jim Vold 11. Okay. And you go and get yourself a MinneZona shirt because you need one. And I think you're going to like it. And who knows, maybe other people would like it too. I mean, hey, come on, Glance. It's 5 out of 5, man. Come on. You can't deny that.
Let me ask you a quick question. Can I live in this hoodie? Like, if I went broke, lost everything but that hoodie, could I live in it?
Absolutely. Well, I was saying a shirt, but if you want a hoodie... I was saying a shirt. If you want,
we're trying to upsell him here. Come on.
Yeah. True. Yeah, that's a good point.
What am I going to do with the T-shirt?
Hey, there you go.
I got 800 T-shirts.
Okay,
exactly.
That's fine. Sweatshirt it is. You thought, we'll get you set up. How about that, Glance? But anyway, we appreciate you, Glance. We like. Well, I think Hunts is trying to pick a fight here. This guy's an idiot. He thinks Ponder is better than Tebow. He's high. Glance, response before we head off?
I believe not. The age, I believe Christian Ponder stuck around longer than Tim Tebow. And I will point out, too, Christian Ponder's stint with the 49ers, just as good as Tebow's stint with the Denver Broncos. Okay.
Dang.
Wow.
We
got a lot to unpack here. We're gonna have to we're gonna have to continue this conversation somewhere else. But Glance, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, and we'll promise we'll get a better connections to have you on here. And we heard most of what you said, so that's the main part about this whole thing. So. Thank you, Glance. We'll talk to you later, me boy.
Later, boys. Catch ya.
Later. All right, Voldy. That was interesting. Yeah. That was interesting.
I don't know what everybody kept talking about. I can hear Glancey clear as day, so y'all's stuff is messed up.
Well, that's good that you could. I don't know. Something's messed up.
Maybe I needed to translate or something.
You could. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe next time we'll get that figured out. I mean, when Mikey was on, this was no problem. When Mikey was on, I mean, I think it's the connection with Glance. I don't know. We're gonna have to.
It's the Glancey effect.
Yeah, it's the Glancey effect.
Everything just kind of goes downhill a little bit.
That's true. That's very true. All right, but anyway, Voldy, let's move on to our next segment. It's time for Callahan's School of Logic. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different because I feel like we need to talk about a certain documentary that came out, Tiger Woods. And there's a lot of people that were fans of how that went. There's a lot of people that weren't. So we're going to talk about my thoughts on it, which are quite interesting. So let's get it rolling with some Callahan School of Logic.
Class is in session. You're enrolled in Callahan's School of Logic.
All right, Voldy, you got your pen, you got your paper, you're ready to go. It's time for Callahan's School of Logic, and we're talking Tiger. We're talking Tiger. Now, why are we talking Tiger Woods? Well, again, like I said, documentary came out on HBO. For one, it was, I will say, okay, it was well put together, as in, how they told the story. But again, there are some parts of the story which I don't agree with this whole documentary. Now, let me explain something. When Tiger was a kid, okay, his dad, Earl, he was already a prodigy when he was like 2 years old. He was on a talk show. I don't know what talk show it was, but he was hitting golf balls when he was 2 years old, which is crazy. And they talk about, his childhood and how he was brought up. And man, I tell you what, his dad pushed him, and he pushed him hard to be the best golfer like ever. And he saw the potential. Now, in my opinion, and this was even before the documentary, okay, I feel like Earl definitely pushed him to the brink a lot of the times. But I also think, too, that he knew what kind of person Tiger would be, what type of player he was going to, change the game. And he did. Tiger really did. When you talk about golf, what do you think first? Tiger Woods, right? Mm-hmm. So there's, a lot of people had, it's like, oh, he's not a good father, and everything like that. The Mike Douglas show. Okay, there we go. The Mike Douglas show is what show he was on when he was 2 years old. MinneZona shirts are great, like Easy A's saying right here. Now let's get back to this. During the documentary, they interviewed Earl, they interviewed Tiger, and they're like, "Oh, what does Tiger do? He's my best friend." But then people are like, "Well, isn't that weird for like an older man to be a father and son relationship?" My dad or Papa Callahan's my best friend, right? And I can't, for some people that they took that out of context, and I just think that a lot of people just kind of look at this and say, well, that's just kind of weird and whatnot. No, it's your dad's almost your best friend. Some people don't have that, which is really sad. You should have that relationship with your father. And I feel like they did have that. They respected one another. They had a good time with one another, okay? Now, we're going to get into something that's a little, it was a little personal, okay? And remember, that interview was old. Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, too. Is like that interview was kind of back, way back when, because Earl died in 2006, like Hunt's is saying as well. Not only that, is that his dad, and again, they talk about in the documentary, he wasn't faithful in his marriage. And I believe that they had RV or something like that, where he would give lessons to women, and he would take them in the RV with cocktails, and he wasn't faithful in his marriage. And I don't know, and again, that's more personal, right? That's more personal and everything like that, which kind of leads me to what happened with Tiger, with all, the scandal, with all the women he was with, and, cheating on, his wife. And that's when you have to think, is this kind of a psychological thing from what Tiger experienced when he was with his dad? and whatnot. And backing up a little bit here, too, is that Tiger didn't really have a lot of social interaction with kids his age, because he was all focused on golf. Which, again, that can turn you into, just almost like a cyborg. Just like, nope, you gotta destroy, gotta beat the competition, focus on golf. That's kind of what Earl was. And Hunts brings up a good point here, too. Army guys back in the day, that's how it was. And it's true. That really how it was. That was the relationship. But my God, did Tiger love his dad. He absolutely, positively loved his father. And we can't forget that. Now, people kind of bring up the quote as like father, like son, like all the scandals and things like that. Well, for God's sake, what Tiger did, he's made mistakes. He's made plenty of mistakes. Okay, and I think Voldy, you and I have probably talked about this. Not too much, but Tiger just needed that kick in the ass to say, all right, it's time to change. Now, this is where the documentary doesn't talk a lot about, is Tiger coming back from all this, okay? And again, I'm not going to get too in-depth on this. I feel like with whatever happened with the scandal, National Enquirer following all these, women and seeing what, if Tiger's cheating and whatnot. You know what? Just leave the guy alone. Seriously, that's personal. Don't get involved with all this. And, they took advantage of it, and they made Tiger out to be the bad guy. Okay? And, again, this isn't something to where you're sitting there and saying, okay, he's cheating on his wife, which is awful, and you should never do that, especially when you're and just think about the aftermath of that whole thing, too. Not only the paparazzi and, but following his ex-wife, Elin. Oh my gosh, trying to take her kids out for a walk or even going out in public, and she's swarmed with reporters and people like, oh, are you gonna, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna divorce? And all this stuff. It's like, well, you try having that. It was a media nightmare, an absolute media nightmare, not only for Tiger, but Elin. You got to think of everybody involved too, especially the mistresses and everything like that. So, it was an absolute mess. But aside from that, because I've talked enough about that. But the last thing that I want to bring up is they never really talked about his comeback. 2019, the Masters. And not only that, is he had a lot of injuries too. He's fought through one and he's won a major through one, right? And I was talking to Hunt. He's more of the expert on Tiger on this. But he's had like 5 back surgeries and everything along those lines. And it's just, it's taxing. And not only that, but he trained with like Navy SEALs and everything like that. And they didn't take it easy on him. And they said in the documentary. So there's a lot to bring up with that. But I feel like they needed to talk more about how he rose from the ashes and just got out, and he wins the Masters, for goodness sake. He totally changed his mindset. He was healthy, and he went out there and he showed, hey, I'm still elite, right? So, again, I think it was the documentary was well put together. But here's the thing. The logic in all of this, okay, is that if you're a superstar, and let's just say the NFL, NBA, everything like that, if you're like a LeBron James, you have cameras on you all the time. You have people following you. You have, all this other stuff. And I'm not perfect, okay? Voldy isn't perfect. Everyone's not perfect. If we were perfect, it would be crazy. It would be crazy. So, again, we can't just keep saying that Tiger is, just a bad person and everything like that. Tiger made a huge mistake, and I'm sure he's regretting for years to come. For the rest of his life. But the way that he has approached his comeback, this is how you come back. This is how you go back to what you know well, and golfing. Okay, and that's what he did. And I felt like they didn't really talk. It was just kind of more like, oh, the scandal, and and again, Tiger with being pulled over for drunk driving, and all the drugs that he was just at a low point, and so he rose, and that's kind of the big thing here too. So, Voldy, did you watch the documentary? Let me ask you this: have you watched the documentary yet?
No. I have not.
I just wanted to double check.
I'm definitely gonna have to make that a priority in the coming weeks. And I'm still even trying to find a way I can watch the Oscar Pistorius 30 for 30 since I don't have ESPN Plus. And exactly. Money is a little bit refocused in the Vold household. Right. I'm definitely gonna have to make a priority to watch that as well. The thing I do want to bring up out of this whole thing, and you're talking about the lack of the comeback as well. Because we got to talk about this as a human interest story.
Yeah.
This is a story about some guy named Tiger Woods. This isn't about Tiger Woods, the golfer. Right. This is about the person as well. It's a human interest story who just happens to be a top-notch world athlete. And, you got to look at other things that are involved with it. Yes, the comeback would have been a real nice touch, but for the entire story overall, how some of the things from his personal life relating back to how it kind of plays into the sport, that's just kind of goes hand in hand. But if you focus too much on the sports itself and not so much the story behind the story, it doesn't really flow all that well. So that's just kind of what I'm looking at from this perspective. But from what you've told me, this is definitely something right up my alley that I definitely need to put very high on my watch list. It's
definitely interesting, but I feel like, with Tiger not being involved, because he wanted no part of it. Like, I think and he goes, what has been said has already been said. Okay, what's happened. That's the end of it. Let's get to our zoners. Hunt's brought up a good point here too, and I talked to Hunt's before this because he didn't want to watch it either, and there's people that didn't want, and that's fine. You don't have to. You're right. His dad dying didn't help him, and that was the start of those problems. Again, losing a loved one is something that that definitely hurt Tiger, and that's tough. That's tough, and especially working out and with Navy SEALs and everything, and just trying to. It reminded him of his dad, so there's that too. Those two are best of friends. They have been for years. They're great parents. Both are great parents for those kids and want them involved in as many sports as possible. Right. Exactly. So the next thing too, he wins a major on a fuse back. Tell me who can do that exactly. And he fought. He fought. And that's the main thing with him. All right, there's Mets here. We got Mets. Tiger also has been more interactive with the galleries. Right. He really has. And he's kind of changed the way he's thought about, people coming up to him and everything like that. I mean, there's people love Tiger. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But, again, I mean, he's definitely a changed man now, I think.
Because he doesn't have that pressure.
Right.
Doesn't have the pressure of when he was younger to go out there and win every time. Nobody expects anything out of Tiger anymore.
No.
If he wins, hey, it's great. But if he makes the cut, hey, that's also great. And now it's just getting to watch what we have left of Tiger on the PGA Tour. Who knows if he goes to the senior tour and, lights it up over there.
Yeah,
that'd be something fun to watch. But who knows? But obviously now he's just taking a moment to at least appreciate each and every time he can go out there and compete. And, if he does well, so be it. But if he doesn't, well, he's got other things to worry about.
He's got options, as the Kirk doctor likes to say. He's doing this comeback for his kids because they only know him as the YouTube golfer. So there's that. And I think, Voldy, you might have posted this on our MinneZona page, but him golfing with his son Charlie was pretty cool. I mean, watching them both swing, it's just like, it's the same person. It's just crazy,
Mickey.
It's like, whoa, it's like Inception. It's just blowing my mind. It's just so crazy.
Seriously.
But, again, to wrap this up, I will say, it was a good document. There's a lot of other stories to unpack, especially his relationship with his mom. And not only that, too, it just kind of explains, the kind of the mindset of where Tiger was at. And, they talk about, glory and whatnot that he had, and him chasing Jack and whatnot. But again, it's his former caddy too, Steve Williams. I'd like to hear Huntz's thoughts on that too. But again, I think people kind of, when people look at Tater, they look at him as a god and everything like that. But he's just human, just like me, just like you, Voldy, just like everybody, every one of the zoners too. So zoners, if you've seen it, let us know what you think too of the Tiger documentary. But anyway, Voldy, I think it's time to get to absurd or approved. We got a lot of good ones, so we got a lot to cover. We do. So let's get it rolling. What's up? Absurd or approved?
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it's time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle it off for us, please?
Well, a big trade in the NFL that happened earlier this week over the weekend. How about a little quarterback switch with some picks thrown in the NFC? Yeah. Detroit Lions are trading franchise stalwart Matthew Stafford to Los Angeles Rams for Jared Goff and a whole bunch of draft picks. The Lions are also going to get a third-round pick this year, a first-round pick next year, a first-round pick the year after, and also they get a quarterback as well that's got about 10 years shaved off the old, the injury bug as well, while the Los Angeles Rams get the likes of Matthew Stafford and hopefully in the twilight of his career can at least get something going in that direction. Absurd or approved, the Los Angeles Rams trading away picks for a very injury-prone quarterback.
Well, one thing I want to say is with Matthew Stafford, he's definitely earned my respect. And the reason why he has is because the guy's a warrior. He's with a team that they're just a mess. Okay, they're just a mess. And they had Megatron, they had some, good team. They've made the playoffs with Matthew Stafford and everything like that. But honestly, with this trade, the Rams wanted Rodgers too. We can't forget that. But the Packers have shut that down like they should have traded, but that's just me. Anyway, the fact is that they wanted Rodgers, then they looked to Stafford. And again, Stafford, I think, has a couple of years left in the tank. And I'm not saying that, and I could be proven wrong because the guy's just an absolute warrior, like I've said before. But this is a situation to where the Lions knew Matt's done with us. Okay, we need to move on and see what we got. But the Rams selling the farm, like you said, Voldy, for an injury-prone quarterback. Don't count out Sean McVay. Okay, don't count out Sean McVay. I think he'll come up with a nice scheme. I mean, he's got Robert Woods, he's got Cooper Kupp. I mean, you have a lot of really good players. And again, we haven't even started the offseason. So there's a lot to be given with this. But the thing is the Kirk doctor talks about this all the time. O-line. Do they have a good O-line? They're okay. They're not, they're not the 2016 Cowboys or something like that offensive line. But again, you got to look into the offseason and see what happens. Matthew Stafford's going to work his butt off. And I do believe that. I really do believe that. I have a lot of respect for Stafford. But the Rams selling the farm, I think it's a little bit absurd. But then again, Detroit got some picks with that. And I don't think they're complaining. It's like, well, we have Goff. Well, we can move on from Goff if we want to. So that's another thing to keep in mind, too. But yeah, I think it's a little absurd. I just think, there's a lot of question marks, but a lot of people are saying there might be even a Super Bowl contender, which, that's absurd statement territory. But, Voldy, what do you think?
I just find it very interesting how the Rams went about this. Obviously, you get a quarterback that's got the experience. But he's 32 years old with the amount of injuries he's had.
Yeah.
He might as well be 52. I mean, he's had wrist, he's had shoulder, he's had back, ribs, foot, elbow, knees, toes.
You name it.
Everything that is connected to the human body has been heard by Matt Stafford some way, somehow. But the Lions get the whole kitchen sink basically with those 2 first-round picks, and also the fact that they get a guy that has also had a couple injuries, but he's still young enough to the fact that they'll be able to make up for it too. Now, Matt Stafford's right now has got more weapons than he ever had in Detroit as well. Jared Goff, he's going to make some guys look good. And that's going to be, right now, it's kind of a win-win situation. But the fact that the Rams now, trading away those 2 first-round picks, they have not picked in the first round since they drafted Jared Goff in 2016. They won't pick again until at least 2024. They've traded away every first-round pick from 2017 now all the way through 2023 now.
Oof.
I think it's absurd the fact that the Rams threw away all these picks for a guy who could very well one more hit and he's done for. So, I mean, I think
true.
It's absurd.
I agree. I think I like Matthew Stafford, but I don't think that you're giving up that many picks. And then, I almost think it was more getting rid of Goff in a way. I just think they lost confidence in him, which, again, that's the business though, right? So, but I like what Mets was put here. Just because the Lions get a lot of picks doesn't mean they'll pick right. Okay, so this is very true. This is very true with Mets. So I agree with Mets on that. I mean, him being a Packer fan, kind of throws this. I don't know if I can trust his input on this, but sure, I do agree with you on that. I'm happy for Stafford. Hunt says gets him out of the dump of Detroit. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, even Dan Campbell, he's hyping the Lions up to be this really tough guy team and whatnot. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, Voldy, I agree with you. I think it's absurd, the amount of picks that they've given up. I just think they might see something that we don't. I don't know. That's another thing that could be brought up too. Aaron Donald wasn't a second-round pick, so the Rams aren't going to get a top player like that for years now. Exactly. Like we just said.
Exactly.
So, all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we move on. The turmoil with DeShaun Watson, and, well, it's official that he wants out of Houston. Of course, this past week, the Houston Texans did announce a new football coach, not named Eric Bieniemy or anything closely resembling Eric Bieniemy. They hire David Culley to be their new football coach for the Houston Texans. And, well, after that, Deshaun Watson says he wants out of Houston. Absurd or approved, Deshaun Watson wanting out of Houston?
We go from one bad team to another bad team, so it's kind of fitting. But I don't blame Deshaun Watson for wanting out because the Texans have been a dumpster fire inside of another dumpster fire. I look at this situation and I say I don't blame him for wanting out. But then again, I don't know if he's going to get what he wants. Because they don't plan on letting him go. And can he hold out? Sure. But he signed the contract. But the Texans screwed this up by making the mistake of not letting him in on the conversations and not even, just completely going off the rails. And and J.J. Watt wants out too. There is something wrong with Houston. Like, Houston, we have a problem, which is true. They have a huge
It's all Bill
problem.
O'Brien's fault. He screwed the whole franchise up.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why everything's so screwed.
So it's got my stamp of approval because the Texans are they don't know what they're doing. They look at Deshaun Watson. literally the franchise, and they just say, no, we're gonna do it our way. Whoever is in the front office or whoever's making all these decisions, you're stupid. You're quite stupid, actually, especially pissing off your franchise quarterback. Chris Spielman looking like his brother. Well, you gotta. The thing is that when you accumulate more picks, that's another thing. But if that's a slight, Justin Jefferson. Just saying, Mets. We got plenty more we can go through too. I mean, there's busts, there's top picks too. But Voldy, for me, I think it's got my stamp of approval. It makes sense. It makes sense. And again, it sucks because he signed the contract for years to come. So now it's like, okay, now you're in this big situation. Is there a way out of this? I don't know. So Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, as soon as the trade DeAndre Hopkins out of Houston, you knew the writing was on the wall for the time being. 4 years, $156 million, no trade clause through the 2025 season. I think things just need to happen when it comes to – it just needs to separate. I think it just needs a clean break. Bill O'Brien screwed this whole franchise when he was GM and coach, basically trying to be Bill Belichick. Well, I hate to break it to you, Bill O'Brien. That didn't work for you at all. And now he's back in college, I think, or something. I don't know. He's doing something else. He's still a football coach. But I think as well, you look from the perspective of ownership and, having him involved in the coaching realm, that would have been very interesting. I do like the fact that you don't want, obviously, one or two players dictating how your whole franchise is going to be. But I don't know how they came to the likes of hiring David Culley over Eric Bieniemy, but I guess it just wasn't a fit. I don't see how or why, but at the same time, the McNair family is just making it up as they go for some reason. And I think it's definitely got my stamp of approval for the fact Watson wants out of Houston. And, if he goes, it probably won't be too much longer till J.J. Watt is out of there too.
So it will be interesting to see what happens, but Houston is just not a good place to be. And I think Matt's put this into perspective. The McNairs are the Glenn Taylors of the NFL. Which is true. Stamp of approval.
Stamp of approval.
Stamp of approval right there, Matt. He's at Alabama, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say he's going to be the offensive coordinator at Alabama because they keep going in and out with offensive coordinators every year.
Much like the Vikings.
Is just I mean, at this point, who's had more offensive coordinators in the last decade? Which team? Vikings or Alabama? Someone's got to know that answer.
Yeah, someone has to. We'll look it up. All right, next one, Voldy.
Yeah, we go to Major League Baseball, and, Major League Baseball trying to sabotage the season before it even starts. It was originally proposed that the Players Union and Major League Baseball were set to come to an agreement, but the Players Association put the kibosh on it because Major League Baseball proposed a 154-game schedule that would pay the players for the full 162 games, pause their arrivals for spring training until March 22nd as opposed to February 17th, and the first games not until April 28th as opposed to April 1st. The offer also did include expanding the playoffs from 10 to 14 teams. Everybody gets a trophy, and implementing the universal DH, designated hitter, in National League. Is it absurd or approved? Major League Baseball wanting to delay the start of the 2021 season.
Voldy, I think we both talked about this before the show. It's absurd. The fact that they keep having these issues kind of infuriates me a little bit because it's like they can never. They're just so far apart with everything, and people had to push them to get this season underway, especially with all this extra. With COVID and everything, I get that, but it's just frustrating. MLB just does not know what they're doing half the time. they come out with proposals and they're saying, well, we're going to bring it up to 14 teams, and then implementing a designated hitter in the National League. What are you guys trying to do here, right? It gets to a point where it's just, I'm looking at this right now, and, the proposal, I'm not saying it's completely preposterous or anything like that, but it's just, they're going to make a counter offer. We do not make this decision lightly, says the MLBPA. Players know firsthand the efforts that were required to complete an abbreviated 2020 season. We appreciate that significant challenges lie ahead. We look forward to promptly finalizing enhanced health and safety protocols that will help players and clubs meet these challenges. Well, why haven't you guys been figuring this out earlier? I don't know. It's just the MLB is just something else. All right, let's get to the zoners, and I'm going to throw it to you, Voldy. JJ to the Vikings for our last absurd.
Do it.
Hey, I don't see a problem with that. I think that we could figure something out.
It'd look good in purple.
He would. This helped the Twins, Hunt says. Brought Cruz back last night. Signed Alex. I probably will butcher this. Colome. I don't know.
Colome? It's one of the two. It's either Colome or Colome. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's three guys with that last name.
I've heard good things, but we'll see. Bullhead pocket protectors. A lockout is looming when the CBA is up. Oh, yep, that's for sure. The pitchers are too far along right now to move back to the season. You don't want these pitchers to get hurt, and that's what they were asking for. Okay, well that's another thing. And there's a lot to kind of unpack with this whole thing too. But again, it gets so frustrating because they cannot work together. So that's just my opinion. Voldy, what do you think?
Well, the fact that they shut down the deal means that the original deal is still on the table right now. 2 weeks from today, pitchers and catchers report to spring training, February 17th, and opening day set for April 1st. Obviously, Huntley was saying, is that the fact that these pitchers are too far ahead in their regimen and their training. Some guys have been moving along to the fact that they've been playing winter ball. They've got their system all ready to go. And now, 2 weeks from today, they'd be reporting to spring training. They're ready to go. Obviously, the fact that Major League Baseball wants to make it more fun for everybody else as opposed to, the ones that are actually going to be playing the game and make it more appealing to a general audience. Look, you either like baseball or you don't.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other sports that you can watch. You don't hear the NFL, obviously the fact that they've made some changes, especially with that whole Nickelodeon universe, the Nickelodeon broadcast or whatever for the playoffs, which was interesting to watch for the 5 seconds that I did. And then you throw in, any other sport trying to make changes of any kind to appeal to a general audience. Look, you can either watch the game or you don't. I don't really care. The fact that if you like baseball or not, I'm sick and tired of Major League Baseball trying to make these changes each year to the fact that they want to appeal to people that don't even like the game to begin with. And they're throwing it out here for the fact that, obviously, either, like I keep saying, you either like baseball or you don't. I think it's absurd that Major League Baseball wanted to delay the start of the season, not because they wanted to protect the players, because they want to, fatten up their wallets a little bit more in some way and respect and try to reach out to more people. I think it's completely absurd.
I think we're on the same page. MLB is just, I don't know. I think Manfred, I'm not a big fan of him either, so that's just kind of our thoughts on that. But we'll see what happens. So let's just get a baseball season, right? So, all right, next one, Voldy.
Yeah, well, big news for all those gamers out there. EA Sports is bringing back college
I've been
football.
here the whole
Video
time.
game, of course, that hasn't been really seeing any real love since 2013, the last time that they put out the game. Well, Daryl Holt, EA Sports Vice President and General Manager, announced the game will be returning with EA Sports College Football.
Yeah!
And that has just drawn so much love from all of the gamers out there that have been begging for this to happen ever since the last one was put out more than 8 years ago now as well. Absurd or approved, EA Sports bring back college football.
If I had a stamp, and the thing is this is a very delicate desk, but I'm stamp of approval. Oh my gosh. Voldy, I spent so many hours back in the day playing NCAA college football. I played with my friends. I played with my, I played against a bunch of people. It was such a fun game. Road to glories, dynasties. I mean, it was so much fun. And you looked forward to it. And again, you'd save up. I would save up, this money to go and get it, or if it was my birthday or something like that, Mama and Papa Callahan would be nice enough to get me NCAA college football. But again, this game really was something you looked forward to every year. Because it's like, oh, you get to play college football. Not only that, Madden used to be like, oh, I like college football more. I like Madden more. I liked both games. I mean, I really did. And for them to come back and do this, there's going to be tons of gamers going to be getting, all this NCAA game. So I'm really stoked for it. Stamp of approval all around. I could cry right now. No, I'm just kidding. 2023 at the earliest. Got to wait till the NCAA passes to let players make money off their names. And then we come into the NCAA, and it's all the NCAA, and they just ruin the fun because like, oh, you have to wait for this long and everything like that. It's just.
And there's Huntley once again ruining our thunder once again, just stealing it right away from us.
Thanks, Hunt. Matt says the only way UCF gets into the college football playoff.
So true.
There's that. So, Voldy, it's got my stamp of approval. What do you think? I'm interested. Tell me.
I think this is great, honestly. Yeah. Now people can shut up about it, honestly. That's the biggest. Yeah. It's got my stamp of approval, so people can shut up because of the fact that there hasn't been a game since 2013. Then it was NCAA football 14. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of it. I can't wait to see who comes out as the featured character, the featured guy on the cover. Who do you think should be on the cover for it?
I'm biased. Justin Jefferson. No, but I mean, honestly, I'd be fine with it. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I think, is kind of the popular vote.
Right.
Joe Burrow had a tweet recently saying like, he goes, "Oh, great, I'm done after last year, and now they say, hey, it's coming back." Joe Burrow would be a good one too. So
it would.
I don't know what they'll do, but I'd like to see like a Justin Jefferson or something like that. I don't think like a Mac Jones or Devontae Smith. I could see that one too for Alabama. But again,
whichever Alabama or SEC star it's going to be in 2 years, basically. Whichever LSU, Alabama, maybe Clemson guy, maybe it's Big Cinco if he sticks around for a couple more years and is still tearing it up. We'll see.
Well, Hunt says, I do want this game back so bad. I know. I figured he did. I loved it. They should have multiple players on the cover with the best players that came out since last. Yeah, that's a good idea, Hunt.
That's right.
That's a very good
idea. Like
a
regional thing, basically.
Yeah, they could. They very well could. So, but Voldy, I'm glad that this is going to happen so people can shut up about it. So, it's good. It's good.
It's one of those things. People keep talking about it. They keep posting the memes on social media, and it's just like, for God's sake, get over it. Just buy the one from 2014 and shut up about it already.
As Zim is kind of cussing here too, that's kind of how you feel. It's just like, let's be done with it. But
exactly.
Let's last one, Voldy.
Well, the NBA and the Players Association are progressing towards an agreement for the All-Star Game to make a comeback. March 7th, State Farm Arena in Atlanta, with just a single night that encompasses a game between the Eastern and Western Conference, along with the skills competition as well. Absurd or approved, the NBA trying to bring back the All-Star Game.
I used to like the All-Star Game a lot. especially when they had the dunk. But honestly, there's no for the dunk contest and whatnot when they had that. There's really not any names that you're like, oh, I gotta see, like a Blake Griffin, Jason Richardson, Aaron. I mean, I guess Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine had that nice, but there's no one that you're like. This is what I suggest. LeBron enters the dunk contest. He should enter the dunk contest. I think he'd be fantastic. But again, I don't know if that'll happen. But going back to the All-Star game, I think the players like it. I mean, I usually don't watch because it's just a pickup game that they're playing. I mean, it's really nothing to where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what's gonna happen? It's just it's okay. There's a lot of points scored and everything like that. But I'm just more curious of what everyone else has to say about this too. I give the NBA credit to try and get the season back to as normal as possible. And I agree with you. I think that's another thing to bring up. But the fans make the event. It's tough without a solid with a sold out venue. Right, and exactly. Yeah. With no fans and everything along those lines, it makes it even tougher.
I know that Atlanta is allowing fans from what I saw with the kerfuffle that was with LeBron and a couple of ladies. I still don't know what the heck that was all about, but the fact that was the thing, like, wait, do they work there? Are they in the – oh, wait, they're just fans? Wait. I didn't know that they were allowing fans in Atlanta.
Courtside Karen.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cancel culture.
I just thought that name that's perfect. They still play better defense in the All-Star game than the Wolves. I give you that one. I do give you that one, Mets. That's very true. But honestly, it's got my stamp of approval. I think, the NBA fans, including myself, it's fine. I think they're just, like Hunt said, get it to as normal as possible. It's like, 2,500 fans. Hunt's the same. I guess LeBron and her husband were just talking, smack. We were PG, but with 13 to each other. She got, Yeah, well, that's just how it is. Trash talk. LeBron says, LeBron's like, I kind of liked it, just because having some interaction with fans and stuff. They miss that. All players miss the fan interaction and everything like that. So, who knows when the whole COVID stuff, hopefully at some point comes to an end, which it seems like it'll never stop now. But again, we got to remain hopeful. But it's got my stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you think?
I definitely like the fact that they're going with this format.
Yeah.
All-Star game and the fact that they'll have the skills competition.
Well,
that's all you really need. Anything beyond that, the young guns versus the rookies, okay, that was fine. The dunk contest a little bit, just fine. Just do it all in one night, be done with it.
Yeah.
Am I going to be happy that's going to be another 185 to 180 contest? Probably not that much, but, that's what happens when they don't play defense at all in the contest. But I think it's got my stamp of approval. Again, the NBA just trying to do their due diligence to, make it as much of a normal season as possible. It doesn't say that they were going to, do it at the beginning of the season originally, but, they're just throwing it out there and, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We'll see.
Well, this is a good shot at the Wolves again. Man, we're just ripping on the Wolves today. I guess it's good. Walls won't allow fans. What, 2,500 fans show up to watch the Wolves?
I don't know if 25 fans would show up.
Oh, man. We're really ripping on the Wolves. We're kicking them while they're down. But again, it's the Wolves. They got to play defense. It's kind of important. So, but anyway, I think that's going to wrap up ARA. Voldy, we've got a special Shield shoutouts. We've got a very special Shield shoutouts for this week. So, I say we get it rolling. Let's do some Shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield. I know who you're shouting out and everything like that, but who are you shouting out tonight?
Well, we do have to say, and welcome to the world, my niece, Avery Jane Vold, was born on this Sunday, January 31st, 6 pounds, 15.2 ounces, 18 inches long. DJ and Molly, congratulations. I know that you two are going to be fantastic and amazing parents. Mom and baby are doing fantastic. They came back home the other day as well from the hospital. They're doing fantastic. I certainly can't wait to hold my niece for the very first time. And we're about 6 weeks away on our end here from bringing our little one into the world too. So I do want to send a big Shield shout out to my niece. Oh, it's still awesome to say here for the first time. Avery Jane Vold was born Sunday, January 31st. Moving on with our Shield shout-outs here. Do I have to wish a couple happy birthdays to a couple of zoners?
Sure.
Actually, birthdays today. Former Madison Bronco teammate Matt Burpee is celebrating a birthday today. And Ethan Flatten, my uncle Ethan, is celebrating a birthday. So happy birthday to those two fine gentlemen as well. Wishing a happy retirement. And unfortunately, the writing was on the wall for the Laser Show. Red Sox second baseman Dustin Pedroia, he did announce his retirement on Monday after battling knee injuries the last 2 seasons, only being able to play just 9 games in 2018 and 2019 as well. It was the likes of Dustin Pedroia finishing his career 2007 American League Rookie of the Year, 2008 Most Valuable Player, 3-time World Series champion, 4-time Gold Glove winner, 4-time American League All-Star as well, and hopefully a nice comfy spot waiting for him in Cooperstown, New York. Hopefully the Baseball Writers Association of America will find a way to keep him out of the Hall of Fame when he's eligible in 5 years. We do have to wish happy retirement as well to former Detroit Red Wings goaltender Jimmy Howard, who announced his retirement this past Thursday, finishing his career with 246 wins, 196 losses, and 70 overtime losses as well. 2.62 goals against average and 24 career shutouts, was a stalwart for the Detroit Red Wings in his time. Did bounce around towards the end of his career, but that's the life of a goaltender as well. I also have to send a special Shield shout out here to my coworker, Tom Martin, who actually, last week we were talking about how this past Friday or the Friday before was National Hot Sauce Day.
Ooh.
And we kept talking about my love for the smoked chipotle Tabasco. It's really good sauce. Ooh. And he actually had a bottle of it. Wasn't a fan of it. Lo and behold, guess who just got himself a new bottle of Tabasco? This guy. Big Shield shout out to Tom Martin for the bottle of Tabasco as well. That's going to do it for Shield shout outs this week.
Wow. I mean, you know, it's a lot of Shield shout-outs, but it's a very special Shield shout-out. So, of course, you know, just going through it too, you know, big congratulations. Not only you, Voldy, Sarah, as an aunt too, and, you know, Jimbo is a grandfather, and Jane is a grandma. I mean, it's crazy.
I know.
It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. And not only that, too, I mean, you know, you guys got a baby on the way, too. It's just, there's so much going on. I can't keep up. It's crazy. But congratulations to DJ and Molly. Yeah, it's good. It's fun, Voldy. And I can say that, you know, being an uncle myself with little Emma as well, it's just, it's a great feeling. You're going to love it. I can tell you that much. But, another thing, too, happy birthday to all the zoners as well, Matt Burpee. And Ethan, where's Ethan been? I haven't seen him. Shoot. He got
enjoying his birthday, we'll say.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. But anyway, Voldy, we're not done yet because
we're not.
Zoners need to know something. We are having a MinneZona special just on the Super Bowl. We're just talking Super Bowl, okay?
Right.
It's not. We're not going to do, you know, segments and everything. It's an open forum for the zoners to tell us what they think. It starts at 2 p.m., okay, 2 p.m. And here is the big reveal. You ready for it? There we go. Join us for a Super Bowl special show. Super Bowl 55 starts at 2 p.m. Not only, I mean, you know, it's on Facebook Live, so we'll get it rolling about 2 p.m. The zoners chime in. You give your thoughts. You give your predictions. We'll have a poll. I mean, it's going to be fun. You know, we're going to eat some of our Super Bowl snacks while we're doing this too. So we are here for you. So make sure that you're checking us out on Super Bowl Sunday at 2 p.m. It's going to be great. I can't wait. Let's get Let's get this Gronk beach party started. Exactly.
You know it.
It'll be fun. I'm really excited for it. And credit to Voldy. It was his idea for this, so we're definitely going to do it. So Q&A Thursdays. We'll get it started for you tomorrow. And, you go over to the Instas, Facebooks. We'll get it set up for you. We'll make sure we answer your questions and whatnot. But you guys got to answer. Yeah, I mean, you got to ask. You got to ask us questions because why not? Also, we have sweatshirts, shirts, and even these stickers right here. You know, you can get your stickers, $2 for these guys, but $3 if you want to go big or go home. All right, okay, you know what I'm saying here. So make sure you talk to me, talk to Voldy, talk to Jimbo. We'll get you set up. If you want a shirt, $20, $5 shipping. Make sure to get your MinneZona shirts. They're fantastic, 5 out of 5 stars. I'm talking to you, Glancey, if you're still tuning in. Sweatshirts, $40, $5 shipping, and again, they're so nice, okay? I mean, you choose what you want. We have them at great prices. So if you want a sweatshirt, get a sweatshirt. You want a shirt, get a shirt. We'll get you set up. That's all you need. And shout out to National Fleet Graphics. I believe I got that right. For our other stickers as well. So make sure you check those out. So shouts out to them. Shout out to Jimbo for finding those guys. I love it. It's just great. And then also, make sure you check out W2 Performance. The Barbell Nerds, Sean and Will, are doing a fantastic job. And make sure you check them out. And they have a new episode out. I'm going to be listening to it here soon, hopefully. And they have stickers available, like I'm showing on my water mug, I should say. $2 for these. We had to match their price for ours because why not, right? And then shout out to Crown Rental for a lot of our other stickers too. So I mean, they just want to give us stickers, and we're just gonna give them the stickers. And last one here too, Jack O'Keefe, Jack's Junkyard. I believe he's going to be starting up here soon, so make sure you check that out as well. Voldy, great job tonight as always. And we will see you zoners on Sunday. Because why the heck not? It's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm giving my prediction. Voldy's giving his prediction. It's going to be fun. Okay? And again, we won't go all the way up to the Super Bowl, but we'll stay long enough for you guys to enjoy some MinneZona Sports Live for our little special fun show. So, but as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.